Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
He's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You're the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
What's up, everybody? Hello, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I'm the American Anchor Baby. This is my show. What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome. I hope you enjoyed Hassan's show. What a good episode. Episode 2. Wow, Hassan. You definitely want to check it out. That's Wow Hassan on YouTube. Just coming off the heels of the last show here, starting the American Anchor Baby show. And today, we're going to do a little crime drama story. Little story that I didn't get to yesterday about this stabbing 14-year-old who stabbed another young girl to death, okay? And I want to talk about it. You know, there was a mass shooting recently and all that. And there's young, twisted minds and no one has any idea, or at least they're not even attempting to go in the right direction. They call it mental illness. They call it everything but what it is. Okay, so we can't expect things to get better. So we'll see if we can glean some insight, some truth out of the story of 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔 here in a moment. I got some other stories and stuff to get into. In fact, I see your calls coming in already. I see your calls coming in. 888-775-3773. Nice. What should I do first? Okay. I want to get into that, your calls. So today will be, once we get into the story here, we got some clips to get into so you can kick back and relax and kind of watch this little crime drama unfold as I saw it and see if you guys can see what I saw. I feel like I should take this call first. It's Vlad from Russia, and I want to get to his call because it looks like he may have some comments on Hassan's show. Vlad, I have you on the air. I thought we should just do this call right away. I have you on there. It looks like you want to comment on Hassan's episode there, and you're welcome to do that. And so welcome on the show. Thanks.
Yeah, I really didn't want to comment it because, as all we know, that it's better to do not have any opinion. Yeah. But
fair enough.
I just wanted to ask you, what do you think about that?
Well, what I think is not, I think it was a great episode. Honestly, I wanted to take your call to, have people check out the episode themselves. I really don't have anything besides that. It was very enjoyable all the way through. It was interesting and super entertaining, don't you think?
Oh, there is a level of entertaining, and some people think that some carnivals in America are also entertaining, but this is mess, and I think that Hassan better to learn how to show respect and to other people.
Hey, what do you mean?
Don't you think so? I mean, this lady, I don't know. Well, how old is she? But it's better to keep track what you're talking about and how you do this.
Okay, I gotcha. So it's
because
you have a commentary on how the interview was conducted itself. You wish to hear it more organized and all that. Is that what you mean?
No, I mean that.
Or you didn't like the interview itself. You didn't like what they were talking about.
I think that spirit that Hassan showed is not in the Bond team.
And what makes you say this? Really sounds, Vlad. This totally sounds like something that you should call Hassan about. It seems a little unfair. I don't want to comment. I did catch quite a bit of the interview, but I was also getting ready for my show. I definitely got to go back and watch it fully. So I honestly can't even answer your question that well. My apologies. I did want to take your call. Have people go check out the episode themselves and definitely consider calling Hassan next week on Wednesday, 11. That way you can ask him. It would seem a little bit more fair. You know what I mean? If you believe that he may have presented something you don't agree with.
Yeah, I just thought that you are friends and you think yeah.
No, we definitely are. I definitely got to check it out, watch it again. But
okay.
But yeah, no, by all means, call Hassan next week, Wednesday.
Okay.
And it sounds like it would be an interesting call. So make sure you do so.
Thank you, Nick.
No problem.
Have
Vlad.
a good stream.
Pleasure.
Yeah, you're amazing.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Right on, Vlad. Right on, Vlad, Russia. We got calls from Russia. We got Vlad in the chat. It's cool. Very cool. Check out Wow Hassan on YouTube. Let's just jump right in, okay? Let's jump right in. Because there was this selfie, this sick selfie that was in the headlines, I think a few months ago. And I saw it and I didn't think much about it. I mean, I saw it and there was this selfie. It was this, I was, I guess, struck, if I remember at the time, at the age of this person. And at the time, it was just alleged that he had killed someone and that he took this selfie snap inside of a cop car. And it was supposed to be like sick because he's a killer and he doesn't seem to care. Look at him just taking selfies in a car. Like he doesn't care, right? And we're talking about 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎, who pled guilty, actually, to killing Tristyn Bailey, okay? This is 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒐 right here. And he pleaded guilty. You know, this is something that happened in 2021, and it took a few years for the trial and all that. We saw the headlines. I swear it was earlier this year. It was earlier 2023 that I saw this whole thing. And it was about the snap, or maybe it was even longer, farther in the past could be. But I just remember the headlines, right? This is Tristyn Bailey, and so that's the story I'm talking about. Okay, so let's get to it, shall we? Because what compels a 14-year-old to snap this 13-year-old Tristyn Bailey 114 times, okay? So it's pretty serious. Not this little, it's really violent, really serious. And so he was arrested on first-degree murder charge, which he pled guilty to. And he was sentenced to life in prison, avoided the death penalty due to being a juvenile, okay? And sorry, I was distracted by the chat. And so I want to talk about this a little bit. Let's set it up here with the first clip here from this report, because and I have a couple questions, right? Because what compels someone to do this in the first place? And keep in mind the things that we've heard about and maybe learned about with the family and mothers here on the Bond Network, okay? And maybe you don't know what I'm talking about. I'll make it clear. But some of us know a little bit. So we'll watch this first clip here just to set it all up, I guess. I think that's a good place to start. Let's watch.
Mother's Day 2021, St. John's, Florida. What should be a happy time of celebration for the Bailey family becomes a day of terror.
I walked out and Sophia was making breakfast by herself. And I was like, where's Tristyn? And she's like, she's still sleeping. And then my son came downstairs. Then he's like, Mom, I didn't see her up there. And then it instantaneously hit me, sheer panic.
That sort of started the timeline of law enforcement getting involved, and started as a missing child investigation.
Investigators learn that Tristyn left the house after FaceTiming with someone.
Her family didn't know that she had left the house, and she went off with a boy.
And went over to a friend's house by the name of Trey, and his friend, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎, was there.
It soon becomes clear that Tristyn leaving her house would have horrifying consequences.
A neighbor who lived in the community was going to go out for a run, and he knew, there was a missing child.
I finished my run and I walked around through the woods, and just a last sweep. And when I came out of the fence at the southern end of the pond, I saw a dead girl there. As soon as I saw her, I stopped and called 911.
So the story of Tristyn Bailey, just setting it up here, was found dead by this jogger who was in the area. And right, she's a young cheerleader, star student, great daughter, like loved by everyone, found dead. What could have gone wrong? Okay. And this is, is my show, my show today, I guess, is like stay at home mom TV. Yeah, I just realized, isn't it feeling like that a little bit? Like daytime TV, murder, crime drama, the moms at home and the kids who stayed at home. You ever stay home because you were sick and you got to stay home and you watch daytime TV and it's all like this? It's like crime dramas and after this, like daytime TV right now. That's what we're doing right now. That's what we're doing. We're doing stay at home mom TV. That's what my show is right now. Crime dramas. I just realized. But hey, kick back, relax. All mothers who are home right now, everybody who's not really working, and pay attention to my afternoon show here. But we'll keep going here because it gets good. It gets interesting, I think, pretty quickly. But Tristyn Bailey, found dead. That's where we are. Family is shocked. What is going on? Okay, not much to say here just quite yet. So let's watch the next clip, huh? How about that?
Tristyn was stabbed 114 times. Most of the wounds were defensive wounds, so she put up a fight.
There wasn't a lot in the scene. Essentially, it was her and some of her personal items and effects, her vape and her cell phone and jewelry, and I think some money there on the ground.
Tristyn came from a close-knit family. She was one of 5 siblings and with 2 loving parents, and they called themselves the Bailey 7.
Tristyn was a 13-year-old, probably average middle school girl. She was very outgoing.
As a daughter, she was absolutely phenomenal. She was an excellent student, was actually just talking about maybe going on and becoming a doctor.
Who could have done this to Tristyn Bailey?
During your conversations with her, has she talked recently about wanting to run away?
She said that one time after she got caught by her sister, she's like, oh my God, I want to run away. She got caught by her sister, sneaking out.
One of those friends is 14-year-old Trey, who went to school with Tristyn. He and another boy from school, 14-year-old 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎, were believed to be the last ones with Tristyn the night she disappeared.
Trey was 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏 best friend. Aiden was a classmate of Tristyn's, and they probably knew of each other.
Can you describe Aiden's attitude, his personality, his demeanor?
Didn't care about anything. He was a really big pothead. He was really chill.
He had just come to our school. It was not a name that we ever heard in her circle of friends.
So we start getting a little bit more of a picture of these young people's lives in this Florida town? I forget now. Florida? Yeah, Florida town somewhere. Somewhere in Florida. And so we start getting a bit of an image here, right? Because it was just this young 13-year-old, the most normal, the most average 13-year-old girl. It's just and then suddenly dead. How could it be? We start getting a bit of a picture here. And this is why I'm kind of talking about this story, because I'm going to be, I guess, pointing out things that most people wouldn't want to mention or talk about. They don't want to bring attention to that. It might be a little rude, might be a little presumptuous. But already we get a picture here. They're not your average 14-year-olds, okay? This 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏, 14-year-old pothead. He didn't care about anything his friend said, but he was a big, really, really big pothead. Was anybody a pothead at 14? maybe I didn't grow up like that, and John Frederick in the chat is wondering too. 13 at this. So, anybody remember? Like, you don't have to tell your business in the chat, but anybody remember when they first kind of started smoking pot like that? I can't say it was like 14. I can't remember anyone 14, anyone around me 14. I've heard of 14-year-olds, but I was never around people that would smoke that young. I knew a crackhead at 12. Wow. So, like I said, I'm not saying they don't exist, but I think it seems like very unlikely, at least for me. Maybe some of you, maybe it's different for other people, but for me, growing up around me, 14 years old was very, very, really young. It's really, really young. And I think unusual. I know that it has become more and more normalized. I remember leaving on my way out of high school, and at the time I hadn't even smoked pot or anything. And I was pretty much at the end of high school. I'm sure many others were. I was probably late in that respect. But when I was leaving school, I was hearing from the teachers that these young students coming in were way wilder. They were high in class. I would never have dreamed of such a thing. They would be high in class, and not just on pot, but on pretty intense stuff like ecstasy. These are the stories I was getting of the younger generations coming into the high school after me. And so maybe that same trend has happened in, a larger respect here with American children, young people, etc. Just kind of wondering here. But we start seeing that it's not the same. It's not just your average 14-year-old, I don't think. Maybe it's become more normal and more average, but it shouldn't be. I think we can agree on that. And it doesn't seem like a good trend. 14 years old, right? And then this Tristyn Bailey girl isn't the most average, nicest girl either. We learned that she's sneaking out. Her family had never heard of. I'd never heard of this name, Aiden. This is not someone in the friend group of our beautiful daughter. She would never do such a thing. But turns out she was sneaking out and vaping. 14, definitely never had a vape. But like, that's tantamount to cigarettes, right? Can we? Is it fair to do a one-to-one comparison there? Maybe not totally one-to-one, because vapes are, they're flavored and they're a little bit easier to get into and conceal. So it's not maybe exactly the same, but it's cigarettes. And I just don't ever remember such a thing that young. They found her vape at the scene, right? So we start getting a picture into them. Anybody kind of see this trend? It seems like people are a little bit more twisted, younger and younger. That's pretty normal in my opinion, says Kevin Howell. Okay. But we can agree this. Tristyn wasn't the young, I guess, straight A student that they thought she was, right? And so we're going to get into this. We got more clips about this. And as we move forward here on this crime drama show, I hope the moms are enjoying this episode. As we move on here, there's next few clips. Try and see what people's motivations are and what they care about and what they think is important, and what solutions they might see to the whole situation. Because the world is trying to present solutions to this, okay? The world's trying to present solutions to this after these mass shooters. You have parts of the government, connecting all those shootings, et cetera, to this ideology of hate, and which is connected to the whole white supremacy and white domestic terrorists are the biggest threat to the country, right? It's all kind of connected. So the world's trying to present solutions to these young, twisted minds. And so let's keep that in our mentality here as we watch this next clip.
What all happened Saturday night?
Tristyn left her home unbeknownst to her family.
Hold on. Let me play the correct clip here. This next clip should be that Saturday night, the last night Tristyn Bailey was alive. Okay, let's watch.
What all happened Saturday night?
Tristyn left her home unbeknownst to her family and went over to Trey's house.
Her sister caught her sneaking out that night. And then she got there, she was freaking out. She was like, oh my God, she caught me, she's gonna tell my parents. And then Aiden's just like, you're good, you're fine.
Police realize they need to speak with Aiden. Maybe he can shed some light on what happened.
I was like, the cops are on the way to your house. I was just like, they're coming to talk to you. That's when I was like a little bit of panic in his face, just a little bit.
He had changed his story from, I didn't see her, to I saw her and walked her home, basically, and then changed it to, well, we got in an argument and I pushed her down.
We started walking home, and then next to like where that brick wall starts up there, is where like she touched my and I like pushed her off me real hard, and then I just kind of walked away out of anger.
As the day went on and the night went on, we found more and more video surveillance, and you could actually start following them through the neighborhood. And so then we knew he was the last one with her.
A short period of time later, Aiden was caught running on video by himself, holding his shoes. And there was no Tristyn in the video.
Police detain Aiden and Trey in the back of a cruiser. And that's when Aiden does something very concerning.
It's in a cop car, cuz. She's tripping, dude. It's so right on this. Oh my God. Damn, dude, has like flashbangs and back there.
And pretending that he didn't know anything about this.
I just don't even have words for it. It was hard to watch that.
Once he's brought into the station, Aiden stops talking to authorities. The only people he's talking to are his parents. And then something else caught investigators' attention.
I think ultimately what was important from that interaction with mostly his mom, was he admitted one thing. She basically asked him what he was wearing when he came home.
You wore khakis or blue jeans?
Blue jeans.
When we looked on the camera, you were wearing khakis, right?
Mm-hmm. He said jeans. She's trying to insinuate to him that, no, you were wearing khakis. When you look back at our surveillance video, all the daytime video, it's very clear he's wearing jeans. And then Trey told us he left the house in jeans.
They're gonna keep him here, right?
I don't know. They don't have no evidence that I know of yet. Unless you know any other thing I don't know. Nothing to worry about, right?
This is serious, Aiden.
It's very serious.
This is no joke. This is your whole life. Your whole life.
And ours.
And ours. And your brothers and sister.
So I don't know if you caught that. We got a little insight into Aiden's life and his family. And the Nick Files. What's up, Carver? Welcome. So we get a little insight into Aiden's family. And if you might have, I don't know if you caught that, but what the last part of the clip there was trying to shine a light on was the mother, really both the parents, but the mother's attempt to basically hide evidence, right? You saw her asking him about the pants he was wearing, and it wasn't the same pants he had on when he left the house. He came back with different pants. Later on, we learn this mother gets charged with tampering with evidence, thanks to video evidence coming out of their own home cameras. Investigators and authorities found that she, in fact, went home into Aiden's clothing, found the jeans that he was wearing, the pair of jeans he was wearing when he left the home, and attempted to hide the evidence, basically. Later, it was found that those pants tested positive for blood, the drain did, and all sorts of things. This woman was actually sent, I believe, to jail for a year and a couple months. But basically, she was charged for tampering here, trying to protect her son, trying to protect him, okay? But we got a little insight because it doesn't seem like they're this like loving family. We get more into that in this next clip here. We'll watch that in a second. And so I got this from Law and Crime Network. Everything is fake. Law and Crime Network. So where was I though? Where the heck was I? So yeah, things are heating up for Aiden Fucci here. He's changing his story. He's only talking to his parents, and I don't play you the whole thing where he's talking to his parents there. But his parents they're basically telling him to stick to his story. You got to stick to your story. You got to find a story and stick to it. And putting all this pressure on him. This is serious, super serious. This is your life and our lives and your brother and sister's lives. It's all of their lives. And it's all on you right now, so this better work out. So intense pressure there from the family. They were trying to cover for him. Yeah, Mr. Matt, that's exactly what the mother was doing. Didn't the mom wash his clothes? I can't remember. We'll see that in the clip, Ivana. I believe they tell us exactly what she did. But she was charged with tampering with the evidence. I don't know if she hid it or if she was washing it. I forget. Motherly love, okay? So you guys are starting to catch on a little bit here. It gets better here. Hold on. How many years did she get? I believe it was 1 year and a few months. She ruined him to begin with. Okay, so you're following here. Family try to cover up. 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒐. What else did I gloss over here? Because I did shorten these clips. And up to at this point, his friends, like the friends involved, all kind of are speaking very openly that Aiden has problems. So we'll get into this next clip here. What else? You notice we also get an insight into that moment in the cop car where he does that selfie that went viral, which is where I saw this story months ago, maybe even longer. And he's talking black. Did you notice that? He's like, man, they got me here, da-da-da. And so it's not uncommon for young white people to speak and act in that way. I've said this before. All young people are like sort of black because of how pervasive that and popular that culture is. Rap, the music, all that. The whole culture is on the social medias. The slang gets thrown around, and everybody has it to some sort of degree. Everybody to some degree uses the language and all that. They'll say yes. So I don't know. But it's also kind of that's also very common in like people that don't fit in. Have you noticed that? They're like act black, especially like young white guys. Just kind of whatever. These are just thoughts, but let's watch this next clip. How about that? Let's keep it moving here.
Police dig even deeper into Aiden. Authorities speak with his girlfriend.
There was a really rough time for him at home. He would talk about that a lot. He would tell me his mom would tell him he was a disappointment. He felt neglected by her, that he felt neglected by both of his parents. He was the least favorite in his family. Told me that sometimes his dad would hit him, and his dad never really let him show emotions. He had anger issues. He told me that he really hated getting angry. He hated doing things that he didn't mean to do when he got angry.
Have you ever seen Aiden get violent with anybody?
Yes.
He was into satanic, evil, violent type of drawings. He would do them himself. He would ask other friends to draw them for him.
Aiden told me that he had voices in his head that told him those things, that told him that he was worthless and a disappointment.
Other ways that he was lashing out for help, but at that point, there was simply no one who could help him.
Did Aiden ever discuss anything to you that would make you think he wanted to try to use a knife on somebody?
Aiden talked about killing people a lot. Aiden and I had a dark sense of humor, and I never took him seriously. He talked about wanting to kill me.
We didn't think he was being for real, but that's not even funny.
He said I should expect it within the month.
And when was that he said this?
I think this month.
𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒐 is arrested and charged with murder, and due to the brutality of the crime, he's set to be tried as an adult, facing 40 years to life in prison.
And we get more. I shortened that one too, but we get more. They find his knife. He had a big, extensive knife collection. He was super into them. He'd talk about them and name his knives. They found one of his knives in the lake or pond or whatever, and had a missing tip. This tip was later found in the skull of Tristyn Bailey. So really gruesome stuff. Really violent, gruesome stuff that someone as young as Aiden could commit. You just got to wonder, right? And you heard there, rough time at home. But it's interesting how the girlfriend expressed that that Aiden complained about not being allowed to be emotional at home. That his father would hit him and not allow him to be emotional. And isn't that so interesting? What did he say? Smoking gun. At least to us, at least to me, smoking gun. Anger issues. He said he had anger issues, and he hated getting angry. He hated getting angry. He hated doing things that he didn't want to do, which is anger caused him to do. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that just incredibly? That's just absolutely amazing. He said he hated doing things that the anger made him do. If only could things have been a little bit different? If at one time he could have been told, if he had just heard that he's not supposed to be angry, that he was not supposed to have this anger, and that he had to forgive. Could you imagine if could things have been a little bit different? And so rough time at home, not allowed to be emotional. Isn't that also interesting? You can imagine maybe a little bit his life at home about a tough father hitting him and saying you can't be emotional, however true that may be. These are Aiden's words. And you can almost imagine like a father who sees that maybe there's something wrong about his boy being emotional, and he's going to beat it out of him, be tough on him or whatever. And you could see the intention maybe, and I'm sure all parents are like this. You could see that there was maybe a good intention in there somewhere. But it's not so much that some of us may have a better understanding about emotion here. It's not so much that you ignore it or push it away. It's not so much that, but so much that it is more like working on it, understanding it. You know what I'm saying? Like a father, you can understand a father's intention to want to discourage emotional behavior in his son. But let's say your son's already emotional. He's already got the emotions. What do you do then? Well, it's not so, you don't have to feed it and all that, but there may be a better way, because there's a reason your boy became that way, right? And so maybe unraveling that and understanding that will get you better, will get you closer. So, interesting insight there, don't you think? About not being allowed to be emotional at home. He hated getting angry, all that. Voices in his head. Wow. If only someone told him that they were not him. So, arrested, charged, and they're saying there's no saving him. At least the attorney, you'll hear this next attorney here in this next clip and others. In this next clip, you'll hear them kind of react to the whole thing, okay? The trial and the statements from the family. In these next two clips, you'll hear the statements from the attorneys, the families, what they think about it, how they feel about the conclusion, okay? So in this next one, it's the trials and all that. And there was a bit of a twist because they were all getting ready, all getting geared up. Both sides were getting their ammo ready for this big jury trial that was about to take place, but then 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎 decides to do this. Let's watch this next clip.
Yet Fucci wasn't the only one who faced charges.
From their own home surveillance system.
Hold up. Actually, this next clip is the mother, a little bit more on the mother and her cover-up, and probably a little bit of what I said too. Okay, the mother covering up Aiden, her son's crime.
Yet Fucci wasn't the only one who faced charges.
From their own home surveillance system, we discovered that Crystal went up to his room and located a pair of jeans in a hamper that she felt had blood on them.
Seeing what she saw on his jeans and knowing that my child was missing and he was the last one seen with her, I just have no words for it.
Nearly 2 years after Tristyn Bailey's murder, Aiden Fucci is set to go on trial. However, as jury selection is about to begin, he makes a life-changing move.
That morning we were set to pick a jury, but it's 9:30. I'm sitting back in chambers and we still have no idea whether it's happening or not.
Your Honor, on behalf of 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕, we enter a change of plea at this time.
Mr. Bailey, is it your desire to enter a plea of guilty to one count of first-degree murder?
Yes, sir.
There was a lot of people coming up to us with a feeling that we would have a great sense of relief. We had already gone through and prepared for all the potentially horrific things that could come up. So some of the things that we could have been spared, we were never spared.
That was sort of the goal, to point out and put on evidence of why this murder, he is a juvenile, but this murder is very, very different. It was not impetuous, and he needs to be locked up for as long as possible to protect all of society.
The behavior is so unusual in this case. For a 14-and-a-half-year-old, it's hard to know if immaturity played any role whatsoever. He's a really unique person, I would say, in a bad way. He's demonstrating some things that I think are extremely clinically concerning that we usually do not see in youth. His prognosis is poor for rehabilitation.
And for arguably the first time, Aiden showed some emotion when his grandmother spoke.
I wish I could change what happened, and we pray for you every day. I pray for you every day. I hope that you find peace somewhere, and we lost a child too.
It was a lot of conflicting emotions. When she got up on that stand, my heart hurt for her.
It was the first time that we had heard from anybody immediately closely connected, any type of emotion, remorse, or anything. So it went a long way for us. It also just points out the fact that when you have these people committing these crimes, they destroy multiple families, and they destroy their own family as well.
In his own words, Fucci actually wrote an apology letter to Tristyn's family.
We were given it in the middle of sentencing. He wrote it. It looks like an apology letter. It's very simple. It's not very in-depth. You know, in the end, I think he's probably sorry he got caught.
The letter said in part, quote, "I'm sorry that you didn't get to know her that long. I know my apology will not fix anything or bring her back, but I hope it helps in some way."
It struck me as odd that what Aiden apologized for was us not having more time with her, and still didn't hit me that he was really, truly sorry for killing her.
Maybe I'm jaded from being a prosecutor, but I don't believe a word someone like Aiden Fucci says.
Oh, the clip. Oh, I thought I'd put a little bit more of this lawyer saying here. Dave Ehrenberg saying he doesn't believe a word someone like Aiden Fucci says. Maybe I'm jaded as a prosecutor, he says, but I don't believe a word someone like not very Christian of this Dave Ehrenberg. You know, not very Christian. I mean, you may have your doubts, and you may be a prosecutor and have seen a lot of mess. That doesn't mean people can't. Do you believe in God, sir? You know, do you believe people can be forgiven, as unlikely as, you know what I'm saying here? Dave Ehrenberg, where's the twinkle in your eye? Not very Christian of this guy, but we got a little bit more there, a little bit more of the story. And he says he's guilty. He says he's guilty and he's sorry. He apologizes. But isn't it a little bit interesting how the family is pretty much disappointed? They're disappointed. How better can we describe them than their reaction here is disappointment. They were saying they were getting ready for this trial, and that it didn't hit him that he was truly sorry. They don't believe it or whatever. And so whatever, they don't have to believe it, but just kind of interesting. And you saw the Aiden's grandmother come out, caused Aiden to cry, and it caused Tristyn's mother, the mother of the dead girl, to say, "My heart hurt for her." It was conflicting emotions, and I wanted to mention that family for a sec, because this whole time we've been talking about Aiden's family, we're talking about what went wrong there and all that, and I sort of mentioned it. You know, Tristyn wasn't the nice girl they thought she was. She's sneaking out at night with boys, with vapes, with pothead boys, hanging out with pothead boys, right? So all this is on Aiden, right? And it's not taking away at all from what Aiden did. Horrible act. 114 stabs. Like, that's insane. But if you guys are understanding me at all in this story so far in the last few clips we played, we got one last one to play. You guys are kind of understanding what I'm getting at here, and that is that no one really cares about the truth of the situation here. And how could they when they really have most people, let's really consider here, most people have no clue why we do the things we do and why these things are happening. So you can't blame them, but they have no clue. And so any prognosis here is missing a substance. And I wonder what Aiden is thinking there, sitting there, when this psychologist is there telling him he's not going to get better, that his prognosis is poor for rehabilitation. What he's done is very unique and particularly unique. And it's just different. And it's true, it's particularly unique for someone his age and at this time period. But what about 30 years from now? I wonder if it'll be that particularly unique. Because there's a trend going on, and it's easy to just be in this situation and say, well, this is so weird, and ignore how this even came about. Can we get a prognosis and an evaluation of the parents here? You know what I mean? Where's their evaluation? Sorry, your prognosis is poor that you'll ever raise another good kid. You'll just mess it up again. So I wonder what Aiden's thinking about his own evaluation there, sitting there. 14 years old. You see him sitting there. It's like, this is a 14-year-old. Aiden's emotion. He got emotional with his grandma. You got to wonder there. What's this sweet woman saying? Oh, we lost someone too. But what is this matriarch we're seeing in this take the stand? Wonder what domino effects she set in motion that led to an Aiden Fucci, right? You guys following so far? So what are you guys saying in the chat? Some of you guys have been saying, I'm following Nick's bad parents. Whatever. They didn't know no better. They came into this country illegally, but they didn't know no better. No, that's a joke. Well, you guys are saying interesting things in the chat. Nick is trying to hit us with the okie doke. What do you mean? You guys are saying interesting things in the chat. Hold on. Scrolling up. Why the dad sitting on the side? Yeah, you're not the only one to notice that everything is fake. Someone else in the chat noticed that too, that the dad is kind of taking a back seat in those clips. And when you watch the whole thing, it is true. And other people comment on this. The investigators, the attorneys, they all make a comment on how the mother was kind of dominating the conversation in the interrogation of Aiden Fucci, okay? So you're not the only one to notice that everything is fake. Nice, Lord Spike Protein. You're enjoying this crime drama Anchor Baby episode. We're going to watch this last clip, guys, and you're going to want to pay attention to this one because it's the family. It's Tristyn Bailey's family. And they have their comments, okay? And we've followed the story so far. Aiden Fucci, horrible thing he did, his parents and their involvement and everything and all that. And I've sort of mentioned the involvement of Tristyn Bailey's parents, but it doesn't seem like anybody else has. It doesn't seem like anybody else here is asking, well, how come your 13-year-old daughter is sneaking out to hang out with pothead boys? Huh? What is it inside of her that this story went on too long, Anchor Baby? Like I said, Linya Chin, we're kicking back. This is for the stay-at-home moms right now. And in the next hour, we'll get into some news. So thanks for enjoying the crime drama. Okay, where was I? What did you do, Tristyn Bailey, the Bailey 7 family? What did you do to raise a daughter that would need boys' attention in such a way to the point that she'd sneak out at night and then was caught and said, no, I want to run away. I'm going to get in so much trouble, da-da-da. What can we get like an investigation into them? Or at least someone ask the question once? Can someone say, hey, you guys, there's some, what did you instill in her, and what emptiness did she have, right? Maybe you guys think, hey, Nick, you're too far. You don't know these people. How dare you? You're thinking all this and that about them. You don't know these people. Well, 888-775-3773. Maybe you disagree. But in my opinion, you'd have to have a sort of emptiness to require attention. Nick, you don't know that girl's heart. Okay, maybe you disagree. Call me. But that she would require, like, to sneak out in such a way and endanger herself. And what's up with all these other kids? Trey and Aiden, their parents seem to be let them go around and do whatever they want to. All right, let's watch this last clip. What else do I want to say about this? He was truly sorry. Well, he said sorry. We don't know how true it was or whatever, but he said he put out a letter. Not only did he change his plea to guilty, he put out a letter and said he was sorry. I personally believe him. I have no reason to doubt him. Like, I don't go around operating like that. He said it. I have no reason to doubt it. And understanding what I do about the mind and evil, there's no way Aiden woke up and wanted to kill that way. He said he hated doing the things that anger made him do. Can't we relate to that? Nick, that's so crazy. A 14-year-old stabbing someone 100 times, how can you relate to that? I don't know. If you can't relate to that, to what he said about anger and stuff, then maybe you're not paying attention. So anyways, let's not make this any longer than it needs to be. Let's watch this last clip. What do I want to say? He said sorry, and it's interesting because, he didn't want to do it. And I think it's true that Satan makes you do things that you don't want to do, and then he lets you see what you did and then blames you for it. Says, look at what you've done. Nick, every gangster in Chicago is sorry. Does that make you feel better about the blacks? What do you mean, Frederick? Are you saying that are you saying like every gangster that like goes and does like some kind of like I don't know, armed robbery, ends up killing someone, that person's sorry? I believe that too. Let's say some gangster, Frederick in the chat, Frederick saying, Nick, every gangster in Chicago is sorry. Does that make you feel better about the blacks? Well, if some gangster, this is all hypothetical, walks into some convenience store, armed robbery, gets out of hand, kills someone, and is sorry, I believe that. I believe that person's sorry. That doesn't mean that doesn't change that their insane worldview and being subject to anger didn't cause them to do that, and they're not responsible. So you showing sympathy for thugs. Right on, Frederick. And then if that's what I'm doing, then that's what I'm doing. Showing sympathy for the thugs. Let's watch this last clip. What else did I want to say? Okay. Following clip, the family of Tristyn Bailey. Let's see if you guys see what I saw in this next clip. Let's watch.
Before the sentence was handed down, Tristyn's family was given an opportunity to speak.
114. This jar now holds 114 stones, one for each of the 114 stab wounds that my sister had to endure. It really almost put into perspective. I know for us, sitting there in that 2 minutes it took to drop stones, just how much she probably had to endure.
I add this stone for the hope and belief I had in people being good that died the day that 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕 murdered my sister.
You, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕, decided to overpower a 5'3" innocent 13-year-old girl. How much more of a coward could you possibly be? We are forever Tristyn Bailey strong.
The family's victim impact statements were some of the most powerful, if not the most, that I've ever seen.
𒒏💊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎, you betrayed us all. Your deplorable actions are unforgivable, and I will pray every day that you stay in prison for the rest of your life. Your Honor, 𒒏💊🄐💏 took the very life that I brought into this world. Please do not for one second think that he could be rehabilitated at any point. He is beyond saving.
This crime had no motive. It was done for no other reason than to satisfy this defendant's internal desire to feel what it was like to kill someone. There is only one appropriate sentence in this case. Mr. Fucci, having entered a plea of guilty to the crime of first-degree murder, I adjudicate you guilty of the premeditated first-degree murder of Tristyn Bailey. I sentence you to life in prison, eligible for review of the sentence in 25 years.
Dang, you see this? This is his booking photo. 𒒏💊🄐💏 looking, that's a 14-year-old, okay? So, 𒒏💊🄐💏 on screen. You guys catch that? I don't know about you guys, but I'm not with this Tristyn Bailey family. Tristyn Bailey strong. Okay, this is the part where I go hard on the Tristyn Bailey family. So I'm not really with this whole emotion thing. Look, it's horrible what happened, right? It's horrible what happened. You know, it's horrible. It's a shame, really. 114 stabs. It's crazy. But this is, you gotta understand, this whole family, they gave their statements afterwards. This is after, way after, right? Way after Aiden already apologized and said that he's taking the guilty plea. And so the fight became about, well, how long can we put him in prison? It wasn't anymore about, you know, whether he, you know, murdered her or not, because he pled guilty for that. And then it was like, okay, well, let's now figure out how long he needs to be in prison. And so they had prepared, the Bailey family had prepared, you heard them, they prepared for years, getting ready for this trial, festering their points, their ammo, their anger, maybe, just building and building. So come the day of, when they finally get to release it all, he says sorry. He says, I'm taking the guilty plea. Well, I was gonna do the 114 stone thing though. I was gonna sit in front of the jury, in front of the audience or whatever, in front of the judge, and I was gonna get a little cup, and I was gonna put one stone after the other, and it's gonna clink, and it was gonna represent every every single stab that Aiden did to my sister. I need to still do that. That's how I see this situation. Ego. No, Nick, but they murdered her. How can you expect them to act differently? Well, I don't expect them to act differently. But can't we all agree that it would be the Christian thing to do, as difficult as it is, to forgive? To forgive, because you understand that what's going on here is a little bit deeper than just wanting to kill someone. Because that's what they're saying. It was no motive, a crime of no motive, and 𒒏💊🄐💏 just wanted to kill someone. But that's not how it starts. That obsession, it has a source. All these things have a source. You know, they say this Ryan shooter, mass shooter that killed black people in, was it Florida somewhere? Jacksonville? Just this past weekend or whatever? Racist shooting because he hated black people. Again, the source is a different source. You don't just hate black people. That does, you know what I mean? You don't just want to kill someone. And so some people agree there is a source. And the world wants to say the source is mental illness. It's a problem in the brain chemistry or actual brain structures and all that. And I don't think that's an accurate diagnosis. I don't think it gets us anywhere closer to the truth. And I think what's closer to the truth, and there may be more to discover there, you all know what I mean, is anger. That it's anger, okay? They say the crime had no motive. What about the crime inflicted on Aiden? Because I'm not here defending what he did, but I will might be one of the only ones, you know, standing up for that I'm not standing up. I'm not making like a stand for Aiden, but kind of like just standing up for a part of this story that nobody else would. What about the crime inflicted on Aiden? You know, the law has to handle Aiden how it must with what he did here. But what about the crime inflicted on Aiden? From the parents and anger, right? Judgment. And then the Bailey 7 here. She sits there, clink, clink. Those were, every stone was a stabbing. Am I being insensitive here? Am I being insensitive? Oh, I think that's just show. Now, don't get me wrong. If this was an idea of the prosecution, wait, would it be the prosecution here? Would it be I guess Aiden would be the defense. And so the family would be prosecuting Aiden. The point is, if this was a strategy from the attorneys, then yeah, right on. Like, my point is like, I'm sure it's very effective, you know, as a way of swaying a jury or whatever. I'm sure it's effective. So I'm not commenting on effective strategies here. I'm just commenting on this girl, this is the sister doing it, this one stone after the other, stone. It seems like mama drama, right, Lord Spike Protein? I'm standing up for the oppressor, right on, Steve Strzok. You know, she's in there with stone after stone going clink, clink, and that was, I wonder how long that took. And then it's like, oh, each one of those stones was every stab. True crime with Nick. Wait, which one is the prosecution? The point is, I'm just pointing out this drama, this ego drama of the sister who did the 114 stones, and then the brother afterwards. Really, this is the thing about young men raised in female-driven homes. The sisters, usually if the sister's older, they'll be a little bit more masculine and raring for life and et cetera, and raring to take on life a little bit. But then the younger brothers in a female-driven home, they take on that female spirit and just run with it. And you saw the younger brother there, and he had his own stone. He said, and this stone is when my faith in humanity died with my sister, right? All emotion, just ego. You might think, well, have some sensitivity, Nick. Well, no. This little ego kid, this little ego brother is taking the death of his sister and making it into the death of his life. It's all ego. He's like, no, now my life ended. Guys, this is my life now, and my life ended, and me. That's your sister died, and now you're making it about your life ending. And it doesn't have to end because you're still living. What an ego. You're still living. Your sister's the one that died. And you want to be out here saying, and this stone is how when my faith in humanity died. If I was the dad, I'd be like, well, you're wrong for that. I'll understand you. You want to be angry. I'm not going to force you or make you change, but you're wrong for that. You're wrong for hating Aiden Fucci. It's not helping anyone. So anyways, that's it. That's the thing here with Aiden Fucci. What else do I want to say about this? Yeah, the world is trying to say it's this or that, and I think it's closer related to anger. I'll leave it at that. Discover the rest on your own. I just don't think all these people, all these attorneys, the judges, the experts, the psychologists, the parents on both families, it's like none of them have any, at least no, they may have some clue, but they don't have any, it doesn't seem like they have any direction on what's really going on here. So it really is one of the best kept secrets, one of the best kept mysteries and secrets of the world. The evil effect of the mother in the home. Do you guys see it even played out in this story as well? Hope you enjoyed crime drama hour. We didn't even spend an hour on this, Lin Yan Chen. What are you talking about? I started late. And Lin Yan Chen with the super chat here says, in retrospect of how you wasted 73 minutes. No, you're wrong. I started late. And Hassan only had 45 minutes to use. I was too harsh on him. Your sense of timing / boundaries is even more distorted. AKA like us blacks, you a real rapper. Thank you, Lin Yan Chen. I tried telling y'all, I am the blackest one on the Bond Network. You know, the title's up for grabs, y'all. But I guess I still got it. Thank you, Lin Yan Chen, for the super chat. It's crime drama hour, okay? We're doing it a little different today, okay? This is for all the stay-at-home moms. today who enjoy crime drama. Sion with the super chat. Thank you for that. She says, Speedy Gonzalez Airlines smart. I like Hassan Yeezy's mama. She's expressive. Thank you, Sion. Appreciate that. Amazing. Carver with the super chat says, super chatting to encourage more Nick crime stories. Right on, Carver. I hope you enjoyed it. Ling Yan Chin, earlier super chat here I missed, says, poor Hassan is a rapper, for he has our black folk sense of time and timing where boundaries confound him. Be at rest, patient, and tactful about mama's mess. Thank you for that, Ling Yan Chin. He's commenting on Hassan's lack of knowing of timing and boundaries. Not too sure exactly what Ling Yan Chin is referring to. But he then goes on in the super chat I already read to realize that I'm much worse than Hassan. My sense of timing is horrific. We did spend a lot of time on that, so, whatever. Hope you enjoyed it. We're doing our thing here. Write a letter to 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎, huh? Spoiler alert. Thanks for the links in the chat, bringing a little bit more to the story here. Thanks for that mod in my chat who put a link in the chat. Apparently, it's a way to write 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎 a letter. Huh. Imagine that. Contacting an inmate. Shall we write 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒄𝒏𝒂𝒍𝒔 a letter? We should write 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒄𝒏𝒂𝒍𝒔, just, an encouragement. To forgive. Because it seems like he's going to be in jail for a long time. He definitely has enough time to think about it. What do you guys think, chat? Should we write him right now? You're telling me to do that right now, Hake? How do we write him a letter right now? Are you serious? Inmate. Dictate a letter on air. Dang, okay, wait, hold on. Let's see if this is possible. Because right now, Dear Aiden. Bond Mad Lib's letter to Aiden. No, this is supposed to be serious. Okay, we want Aiden to forgive. We can send him the troll letter in a different account. If we're going to send him, sup my anga, LMAO, write him a letter with sup my anga, draw pictures of stones, 1 per page. Nada? That's not funny, Nada. That's not funny, Nada. Nada told me to send him a letter and draw a picture of stones, 1 per page. That would mean 114 pages. Tell him to forgive his mama. Thank you, DNK127. The only one with some love in the chat. Everyone's telling me to... thank you, Steve Strock. We have 2 people in the chat with some love. Everyone wants me to troll Aiden, and we got 2 people who want me to tell Aiden to forgive his mother. Interesting. Contacting an inmate. I'm on the Florida Department of Corrections website right now. Let's see if I can show you what I'm looking at here. It doesn't seem like it's the easiest thing to just jump in and write him a letter. Let's see here. Writing an inmate. Don't harass him, chat. But apparently it says contacting an inmate. Looks like I have to... All routine inmate mail should be sent to the following address. And then it needs to be addressed correctly. Always use the inmate's committed name and DC number. Email messages. You can email? Hold up. Are we... Someone's got to care about... Someone's got to show 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒄𝒏 love. Inmates are authorized access to the internet. Inmates are not authorized access. Okay. However, through JPay, a Florida-based company, the department provides a variety of multimedia services. Secure mail is available at inmates at a cost of 39 cents. Never mind. I don't care about his salvation. That's a joke. That's a joke. 39 cents? That's too expensive for me. Sorry, buddy. You're on your own. This is kind of interesting. I might look into this. Spoiler alert. Thank you for that. I don't think we could do that on the air right now. I definitely don't think we could do that on the air. So, thank you for that. Is Nick never going to write a show program ever again? I don't understand this conspiracy theory. Everything is fake. I mean, this is... What do you think this show was? This is a written out program. Everything is fake is always hoping I'd actually do some work and actually come up with a written out show to present to you guys for once instead of just winging it at the top of my head. But it's really not like that, man. But anyways, what shall we do next? because I don't think we can send 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎 a letter here. But if I do, I will let you guys know. If I do so, we'll try and tell him about forgiving. You know? Just what we know. What we know that might help. And it doesn't look like he has access to YouTube in there. But we'll send him the silent prayer. See if that's possible. All right, y'all. What should we do next? It's written in Nick's heart. Yeah, right on, Ivana. Okay, Rumble. What's up, everybody at Rumble? Did I say hello to y'all? You can support me on Rumble, rumble.com/American Anchorbaby. I see you guys over there. Old Saucy, Tommy Economy, Austin Stewart, Ohio Sentinel, 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍� 2024. And, of course, the Hake Report. Thank you for that. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats here. Before we do the next story here, how about that video of the child getting kicked out of class? Oh, you want to do that? The Don't Tread on Me flag kid? I did have that. J-Rod for VP. All right, y'all. Thanks. Everything is fake. Appreciate that. Okay. Let's do this. Should we go serious or go funny? Okay. Aiden for the JLP network. What are you guys talking about now? Let's watch this instead. How about let's see. Amazing clips, Tucker. Some amazing Tucker clips. Talking about how he sees the world. There's some other clip that came out where he's talking about Obama. Kind of messy. I'm not really interested in that. But it's interesting. I didn't know anything about Larry Sinclair and all this stuff, right? I was I don't know, how old was I? 2008. You know. So I wasn't aware of the Obama years like many of you are. Not as aware of the Obama years, but some of you might know this. Larry Sinclair. Was I 13? Really? 13 years old? Huh. So yeah, there's some clips that came out. It's Tucker talking about Obama and Larry Sinclair. Messy stuff. I really don't care about that. But there was some other clip here I wanted to show you. It was about the world. The world stage. Is Tucker making sense here? Is he fear-mongering? He's talking about the world. He's talking about America and Russia and a looming hot war, he says. A hot war, as they call it. Meaning when they actually have war, as opposed to proxy war, where, you know, you're funding certain parts and it's information war, or you're funding soldiers here or there, but not exactly putting down American troops and American assets. So that's what a hot war is, when you actually do that. Tucker here is talking about a impending hot war with Russia. Is he making sense here, y'all? Or is this fear-mongering? Come on, Elon Musk. Elon Musk bogarting the show once again. You know, you got a clip set up, you press play, and then Elon Musk says, no. You know what? No. Okay, let's try again.
My view of it, here's my view of it. I think the lies are unsustainable. Lying is always unsustainable. You're always found out in the end, whether in your lifetime or posthumously. But lies are always revealed by their nature. And these lies are so big and so obvious and so stupid that it's going to be very clear to the majority of voters before the election that the Biden administration has no idea what it's doing, that Joe Biden is not running the government, and that it's not working at all. And I think by that point, we're going to have a real economic contraction. I think we're going to be in the teeth of a very tough recession, and that makes everything much more intense. And so if your goal is to maintain power, and if you think once you relinquish power, the problem with criminalizing politics is the people who do it imagine or know that it will be done to them. So once you start indicting your political opponents, you know that you have to win or else they're going to indict you if they win, right?
Right.
And so they can't lose. They will do anything to win. So how do they do that? They're not going to do COVID again. I know everyone on the right's afraid they're going to do COVID and mask mandate. They're not going to do that. They can't do that. If they've already been exposed, that won't work. There's going to be, no, what are they going to do? They're going to go to war with Russia is what they're going to do. There will be a hot war between the United States and Russia in the next year. And
really?
Yes, of course. They want it anyway. I don't think we'll win it, but that's a separate analysis. But I think it's a political matter. They need to declare war footing in order to assume war powers in order to win. I believe that. And I think the evidence suggests that's true. So if you're worried about our politics getting like even more...
Can someone explain that to me? Like, what is it about an administration waging war that would keep them in power? Is he saying, this is probably my ignorance here, but is he saying, well, if America's at war, then enacting war powers mean it's like an emergency. So no, we can't have a new president or have elections. It's war powers right now. We're at war. Is that what he's saying here? Or can someone explain to me, because maybe I don't understand this, maybe someone can explain to me how an administration waging war helps them win an election or stay in power? What am I not understanding here?
Vicious than it already about. I believe that. And I think the evidence suggests that's true. So if you're worried about our politics getting like even more vicious than it already is, and people being hurt in our politics, which is entirely possible, you should be worried about the prospect of an open war. We're already at war with Russia, of course. We're funding their enemies. So we're fighting Russia. But I mean, an open battle with Russia where we say we're at war with Russia. I think that could easily happen. I think we could Tonkin Gulf our way into it, where all of a sudden missiles land in Poland. The Russians did it. Our NATO allies been attacked. We're going to war. I could see that happening very easily.
He's suggesting the U.S. within a year will create a false flag, not unlike the Gulf of Tonkin, which is a false flag event. Okay, you know what I'm saying here? Gulf of Tonkin incident. A confrontation that led to the United States engaging in the Vietnam War. Okay. And it was, the cover to join a war, a conflict. Okay. But what was I going to say about this? I lost my train of thought.
Poland, the Russians did it. Our NATO allies been attacked. We're going to war. I could see that happening very easily. So if you're worried about that, you need to put as much pressure as you possibly can on the Republican-held Senate to force a peace, which can be done. The United States could force a peace in Ukraine tonight. We're funding one side. There is no Ukrainian army.
It looks like you guys are responding to me in the chat. FDR, 4 terms, war powers. He won, but you should go look at the polls and the American sentiment on Europe's issues. Interesting, Matt. Thank you. Nick, usually the president gets reelected during wartime. Look what happened with Bush. Right. Okay. This is good. This is good info, guys. Thank you. I'm an anchor baby. I didn't see Bush. I just kind of heard about him. Come on, you goddamn Canadian. Well, thank you, Zenny. Martial law, Nick, ... Communists work this way, but they've never done it. Interesting stuff. Thank you, chat. Appreciate it. You guys are very knowledgeable. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so where were we? Let's watch this. Yeah, you guys think this is he fear? He's thinking hot war within the year. Very possible.
If NATO withdrew its support for Ukraine, Ukraine would crumble in a day. So we are the only power in the world that can bring both sides to the table to force a peace, which will be unsatisfactory as all forced peaces are. Like each side will give more than it wants, but that's the only option. Otherwise...
Right on. See, that's some logic, don't you think? That's the same logic I think President Trump will have.
Got my house on it. We are going to war with Russia. And of course, the stakes are everything, our life on the planet. I mean, these are the 2 biggest nuclear arsenals in the world facing off against each other. So, like, this is insane. They're insane. These are people who think men can become women, who believe that face masks.
Now, I mean, it's kind of amazing. Hold on. Kind of incredible. I mean, Tucker's also talking about assassinations of Trump, incoming assassinations of Trump. And I don't know about all that, look. But I know that we've talked about World War III before and Trump and maybe even some assassination talk, but you know, should the craziest things happen tomorrow? Is this just a silly thing to say? I mean, it's just true. We got to stay calm. We got to stay calm. Right? I got calls coming in. I'll get to you guys. We have to stay calm. Nord Stream 2, you remember all that? Biden saying he's sanctioning Nord Stream 2, and then all of a sudden, Nord Stream 2, the pipeline over there in Europe that the Russians needed, gets blown up. Like, you know, advancing moves in this game here. Anyways, let's watch more of this here. I'm going to get you to the calls here in a moment. Let's just finish this.
They're insane. These are people who think men can become women, who believe that we're all, but they don't seem to get it. And meanwhile, Republican leaders, and Mitch McConnell's senile too, so I don't even blame him, but all the stupid Republican senators and McCarthy in the House, I mean, it's pathetic. These people are all on board with the war against Russia. Why?
Well, I think it may.
Okay. Well, he's out talking with Adam Carolla there. You know, you've heard some of this and the comments he made about Trump being assassinated. What do you guys think about all that? I got Art, Ohio. You're on the air, sir. Appreciate your call.
Hey, no problem. So first thing first is I'm gonna use me for an analogy. Okay. When I'm in middle school or whatnot, if you let another kid step on your toes, push you in line or whatnot, and you just don't say nothing, then you can expect the rest of that school year in one of these Columbus public schools that you're going to be getting pushed, bullied, talked about, your shoes stepped on, hair pulled, laughed at, talked about, all that stuff. So let's just say that Trump get back in there, which I think he's going to get back in the office. Russia can't just be like, okay, Trump back in office, we got somebody with a logical level head in there, so ain't no reason to go to war or whatnot. Because if they do that, now you got to look at Africa, all these other countries that have been doing business with Russia and is doing business with Russia. They're going to look at, your peers are going to look at Russia like, y'all some punks and y'all scared of America because y'all didn't do nothing when they messed up your pipeline, all this stuff that America's been doing. So my thing is this, Russia, only reason why Russia ain't doing nothing right now is because they getting themselves together.
For what?
They basically making sure when they crossing their T's, dotting their I's, so when it's time to get it on, they going to be ready to get it on, and they making sure they going to be protecting their citizens. And if you don't think that they trying to make sure they protecting their citizens, only thing you got to look at is how they banning all this transgender nonsense over there, how they trying, how their citizens and how Putin is more based and more conservative than how America's supposed to be. So a person over here in America can't see they logical over there, and then that's what they doing. Then you just living up under a rock, and you blind, deaf, or dumb, or you got dementia like Slow Creepy Joe.
I see what you're saying. Are you saying? What I mean? Yeah. Are you saying that also? Are you then saying that like that Russia isn't going to back down? Like this is too. They're going to look weak and all that. And so you're imagining Trump. You're imagining Russia. You know, not really backing down. They because it would look bad.
Yeah, this a man's game, man. This ain't a liberal beta game. Oh, kumbaya, let's come together and Art's got chicken wings on the grill and let's have a good time. You got a couple of them Art wives over there. Let's drink a couple. Art. It ain't none of that, man.
It ain't none of that.
They're trying to take. they're trying to take control over the world stage, and you ain't taking control over the world stage by you tucking your tail and running and picking and choosing who you want to fight with and who you don't want to fight with. Oh, it's all. I mean, it's only the liberals is acting like it, and acting like ain't nothing going on and trying to make it seem like, oh, this ain't nothing to worry about. Artie Art don't know what Tucker don't know what he's talking about. Anybody with a logical brain know what Tucker Carlson is saying is facts. Artie Art been saying it. And I want to break down to you what Tucker Carlson was saying, but I want to hear what you got to say.
Well, I was wondering if you're saying it would be, you don't see Russia backing down. It would look too weak. Are you saying, like, should Trump come in and be president? You're saying you don't see him negotiating any kind of peace or forcing any kind of peace, for that matter?
And you can't. How they gonna do that, Nick? They can't do that.
Well, I mean, how can they? I don't know what would happen, right? But considering,
okay, use this as an example.
Okay,
what happened when 9/11 happened? We went over there and we tore up over there. The same thing we've been doing to Russia ain't no different than what 9/11 happened over here. So if we didn't back down when 9/11 happened, what makes you think that they gonna back down when America has been pushing these buttons and pushing their buttons all this time? And it ain't like they just did one thing. It's been numerous and top of numerous things.
If you're trying to describe, America's role in the world and their influence and hegemony in the world post 9/11, and if you're trying to say that, I'm trying to understand here. Are you trying to say this Ukraine situation is just an extension of that mentality of policing the world, etc.?
Yeah.
And so, okay. And so, do you see Trump as part? Do you see Trump as part of that machine, or does he want to end that?
No, I don't. Because Trump went trying. He was against war.
Right.
Only thing we can do by getting somebody like Trump in office is to get somebody in there that's logical, level-headed, and know economics and know how to talk. And I'm not expecting Trump to be no Floyd Mayweather and know how to dip, dodge, swing, and throw a left punch. I just want somebody in there that's logical, that when we are in the fight, that it's somebody that I know got some backbone, and when the SHIT hits the fan, he ain't going to turn his tail and duck and throw everybody up under the bus just like these career politicians done time after time. I mean, if you ain't seen it over the last couple years, how they done messed up and screwed over there when they left them soldiers over there, when the email thing with Hillary Clinton, you got a whole bunch of backstabbing career politicians. I don't trust them, and I want somebody in there that if I am going to fight for them, that I can know that they got my best interest.
I mean, that's why I want Trump, because I think he could actually he could actually bring some sober thinking to this whole situation, because I don't know if you see it the way I see it, and this is from a layman's perspective. I don't know everything here, but this is how I'm understanding the situation here. And it sounds like you alluded to this too, America's role in the world and how they've through NATO and all that, how they've spread their, could you say they've spread their borders and influence around the world that way. And
money, weapons, all that. Go ahead.
And so I don't really see you saying it's just as likely that Russia won't back down because it'll look weak despite even if there was a Trump and all that. I'm thinking it's just as likely that Putin and Russia, I'm not saying it's not possible that he's lying, but I also think it's just as possible that he's being truthful about his whole motivation and mentality here, and it's that simply he doesn't want. He's been warning about encroaching NATO, and that he wants to have the Donbass area to protect Russia. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to have that buffer. He doesn't want Ukraine, etc., joining NATO, therefore expanding NATO and Western borders to the Russian doorstep, right? Yeah. And so I think it's just as likely that he's not lying about that, and that should someone who's a little bit more level-headed like Trump come in, who doesn't want to go along with the establishment machine, war machine, and that he would want to do a peace. And like Tucker said, it won't be exactly like both sides aren't going to get everything they want, but I can foresee I think it's just as likely that someone level-headed like Trump comes in and forces Ukraine to give up the Donbass, and Putin gets what he wants in that respect, and then you just finish it up, whatever else you got to tie up, and end that war. You know what I'm saying? Now which would be totally against the Biden and current establishment mentality, which is giving up the Donbass would be completely just absolutely wrong. It would be giving into the Russians, and which is what the Russians want. What they want to go beyond Ukraine and take over Europe. And I just don't think that. I think it's just as likely that that's not true, and that Putin will get the Donbass and be like, okay, this is what we wanted. And then, with a strong guy like Trump, assuage any sort of imperialist desires that Putin might have beyond his borders. You know what I mean? So I think that's also just as likely from our position with how little we know.
That's what we would want. That's what a logical person would want or whatnot. But that's in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory land. Mm-hmm. The thing is, that negotiation point was over years ago, and it's already blood that's going to be spilled.
Lots. So 500,000 plus Ukrainians.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about.
So Putin's a man of the people. I'm pretty sure that the people are seeing what's going on over here in America or whatnot. Second thing is, you talking about Trump. He's only one person. He's going to get 4 years. Mm-hmm. And then if I'm Putin and I'm them, I'm realizing after the 4 years is up, guess what? If Trump don't clear that swamp and get everything and get all these swamp creatures out the way, then all these liberals out the way, then guess what? As soon as he get right back out of office, the same thing that Sleepy Creepy Dementia did, as soon as he got in there and flipped all his Trump's policies, is the same thing that's going to happen as soon as Trump get back out this after 2024. So and just like I said, it's a respect thing. If you didn't respect me when I said that I wanted y'all to get up out of Ukraine, then, and you kept just pushing me around, then, and then when Trump come in, I just be like, oh, everything's cool. Then everybody's watching that. Everybody's seeing. But what I want to say about what Tucker Carlson was saying is that basically Sleepy Creepy Joe and all of them are starting all this so that they can get us into martial law, so that can be their form of way to try to keep us from going to having an election for the American people, so his terms will keep going on if we get into this little war. So he end up staying in the office or whatnot. And that's what he's saying.
I'm following, man. Crazy. I mean, pretty high casualties when you think about it.
Yeah, but my thing is this. We want them to square everything away, but if Russia don't stand up for themselves, then they willing. Basically, they saying that they scared. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And females, they might be able to come to the table and act fake. You know what I mean? Put on the fake smile or whatnot and try to act cool. But then when they get out the room, they go to talk about the other females they were sitting at the table with. But pretty much alpha males, we like to get the fight up, fight and get it over with. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we can at least try to shake hands. You can't just get punched in your mouth and then be like, oh, okay, let's shake hands. Like, hold up. You just punched me in my mouth. I at least got to get a punch back. I might not win the fight, but I at least got to get a punch back.
Totally, man. I see what you're saying. We can only hope that egos like that don't come into play, because that's how these things go. Any conflict, you can think of any conflict in recent history. It's how it goes. It's a tit for tat escalations until this is
think about how any other lands. You got to look at history. History ain't doing nothing but a big old circle repeats itself. This is how wars have been started, and this is how they always gonna start and end up finishing.
Yeah,
it ain't tit for tat escalation.
Tit for tat escalation. It always starts like this.
Yeah, it ain't just gonna change because we in 2023 and we got and it's alleged progressive. Everybody come to the table. It takes the village to raise a family, and diversity is a strength. It ain't gonna just change the way of man and how wars and stuff is started. Ain't gonna just change because we in the 2000s. It ain't just about to stop. It's been going on like this for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds since the beginning of man.
So true, Art. Making a lot of sense.
Catch you later. I'll talk to y'all later.
Always a pleasure. Call me again.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Moving the wheels, sir. We got Justin, Fullerton, California. You're on the air. Thanks for your call.
All right. Thanks for getting me on the call. I just wanted to say this. I think that we should think about what would Trump do. But then again, because we don't have the kind of leadership.
Sorry.
What?
I said WWTD. What would Trump do?
Yeah.
So we got to think of what would Trump do. Go on.
Right. So as soon as he becomes president, the thing he can do is similar to that of like Ronald Reagan. And I said that to say this. There's the fact that President Reagan was able to have 2 terms, keep us out of a war, was because he kept the economy strong. They also try to accuse, like this one, President Trump was a warmonger. And we have not even been in war. Like you talked about it earlier with Art about peace. And coming to the table, as he talked about, or tying things up, it really is about the economy. And if give Putin what he needs and whatever it is, but stop. Like I read in the news, what they need to do is stop one thing right now is helping the Ukrainian pension system while our banking economy is, collapsing. So Tucker is doing.
We're propping that up. You're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So there's playing 2 sides. You're not giving into one party, but you're giving money to another corrupt party, and it's like, okay, they're all governments and they're all in a certain party system, and so you have to listen in a hostage situation what the other person wants to remove emotion and have a good negotiator at the table who's calm. And Trump would definitely take care of business day one. Kept us out of war with China and Russia, but now that we have what we have, Tucker's right. War is imminent. It doesn't look like the doomsday clock is getting any further. It's getting much closer to the mark. So whether you believe in the second coming or the signs, whatever, the times are coming. So Trump is the one that would bring peace, I think, before
I think I think that's just as likely too. All this war and Tucker and hot war with Russia, but I think it's also that's another possibility that exists in the void is Trump coming in to power and calming things down. Hello? Justin Fullerton, I lost you there. You still there? Justin. I got you back, I think. Justin, you still hear me?
Sorry, I had bad reception.
No problem. I was just saying, I was just commenting. I was just, responding to you. I was thinking, I think Tucker saying war is coming, blah, 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 hot war with Russia. I think it's just as likely in the realm of possibilities that Trump comes in and calms things down, right?
Correct. And that's what the American voter is going to recognize, that they're going to want peace over some kind of power struggle. And that would be, probably day one also of, locking up all the corrupt people who are treasonous and expediting that. So once we clean up the government.
Didn't he promise a crystal knocked when he comes into power?
Yeah.
He said he would enact order. What is it? Like Trump, he promised, he pledged to that when he comes in that he'd just fire a bunch of judges and stuff, and cabinets or whatever.
Well, yeah, there's a lot on the table, so that's why my
orders. Go on.
Is always going to be my Trump's always going to be Trump. That's why, because there's so many good things he offers to the table for the good of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I would even, if it's not listed in my city, I'm going to definitely handwrite it in. I'm going to put his name in. You know what I mean?
How former Fed? Okay, here it is. How Trump? Okay, hold on. I'm just trying to get the accurate report here on what he promised to do. He plans to fire thousands of federal. Here it is. He plans to, when he comes in, if he were to become president again, he plans to fire thousands of federal workers and replace them with America First loyalists. And I believe he called it something funny too, like Order 66. No, but you know what I'm saying. He did say he's going to do that. So
that'd be amazing. Yeah, that'd be the first thing he should take care of.
Nice. Right on, Justin. I agree, because it's all these people. I mean, I wonder what that first presidency was like, how that first term was like. I wonder what that was like for him. Like, for real, going in and thinking, I'm going to change this and that, and then being confronted with the swamp and everything. Yeah. I wonder what he saw. How bad is it really?
The reality is that the Patriot has realized that he's got to take care of his school district for his kids. He's got to take care of his city, his local community, and therefore that's what he can affect changing, each person doing that, because there's only so much one 4-year term can do. It's like 2 years is just catching up for most presidents, and they don't even elect their own policies because they're getting caught up. But anyway, in his situation, for what he was thrown at him, I think he did a phenomenal job. Yeah.
Who did what a phenomenal job?
For what Trump was able to do with what was thrown at him in opposition, he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
People loved him until he, even on the Democrat side, until he spoke up about certain things.
Right.
But, right. So I think that God is ultimately in charge, and it's a great day for patriots to rally around the fact that, Trump 2024.
And we still rolling with Trump. Right on, Justin. Anything you want to say before we move the wheels here?
I know. I just have a great day. And you should do a man on the street as well.
I know. Isn't that good? You caught Hassan's show there? That sounds awesome. Yeah. I definitely want to see that. Did he say he was releasing that today at 4?
Yes.
I believe so. If you guys want to check it out, Wow Hassan on YouTube. I believe he's releasing a video of him on the street talking to the people. Definitely good. Thanks for that suggestion, Justin.
Yes, sir.
Right on.
All right, have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Take care. Call me again. Okay, always a pleasure. Thanks. Call me again. Okay, right on, y'all. Incredible. Amazing. Tremendous. Amazing. Thanks for all your calls. Thanks for everything there. You guys keeping it going. I mean, there's no real topics we can get into now in the last few minutes of the show. Nothing we can really get into here. Let me see, make sure I haven't missed anybody. What's up, Rumble? Dennis 2020, thanks for joining. Right on. So is the anchor baby going to be fighting Russians? What the heck? I don't want to do that. Like, if they were on our doorstep, that's a different thing, right? Yeah, everything is fake. Thanks for the reminder there. Nick, he's saying, Nick, you have done. I don't know where that footage is now, though. You and Skateboard Chris. He's talking about the time I went on the street to film those Black Lives Matter riots in L.A. and Santa Monica and all that. That was incredible. Incredible footage. Well, I'll have to post that on my channel, now that I think about it. Thanks for the reminder. Everything is fake. But yeah, is the anchor baby, Nick, going to get drafted? Is the anchor baby I don't want to shoot Russians, man. Like, maybe if Trump wanted me to shoot Russians, that's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, is Nick a Canadian citizen or United States? I'm an American citizen, Jose. I'm an American anchor baby. My family abused the immigration laws. They came here. They had me in America, and I now have an American citizenship. And I am signed up for the Selective Service. I know this because I remember one time I went to renew my passport in Canada. I went to the U.S. consulate, and this lady produced this little yellow pamphlet thing and told me I have to fill it out. Well, no, she told me it was up to me to fill it out. But then she informed me, should I not fill it out, it's a crime, and then they'll come after me. So basically, I have to fill it out. And what it was the Selective Service. And what is that exactly? Selective Service? What is that exactly? The Selective Service is a U.S. federal government agency that maintains information on those potentially subject to military conscription. What the heck? I don't want to fight the Russians, man. I'd be a great soldier, but not because of bravery, but because they could feed me anything and I'll sleep anywhere. Technically, all Canadians are also North Americans. Okay, Will Cole. The pool for the draft. That's registering for the U.S. draft. They forced me. They told me I have to Conscripted.com. What is that? Conscripted.com. Are you just saying that's my reality? Spoiler alert. Is that not even a website? Are you just telling me what my reality is? Spoiler alert. Conscripted.com, draft bro. When in Rome. So yeah, y'all, your anchor baby might be shooting Russians. Trench baby, the trench baby. Anybody else? Any other eligible people in the chat? Actually, don't answer that. Sometimes I ask some fed questions. Sometimes I ask some pretty feddy, glowy questions like, who's a pureblood in the chat? Hey, any purebloods in the chat? Don't answer my fed questions and reveal your vaccination status or whether you're draftable. I vow to not watch Nick or Hake's show ever again unless they interview their parents. Lucas Dukas wants me to interview my parents. But my mom won't even be able to speak with you guys. Without Nick, Zelensky won't hold an election. Right on. If Dylan Burns can do it, you can. That's funny, Ivana. I will fight next to you, Nick. Right on, Jose. Y'all, hey. If they conscript me, I will try to do the American Anchor Baby show from wherever I am. How about that? All right. Hey, chat. So I'm in the trenches right now. I'm a trench baby right now. Memeing. Memeing. I'm a trench baby. So let's see what the Russians got to say. Obviously, that's not funny. I don't think I'll be TikToking the war. I'll try, chat. I'll try. How about that? If I get conscripted for World War III and your host, the American Anchor Baby, will be an Anchor Baby, American Anchor Baby soldier, I'll do my best to TikTok live stream the war. How about that? Oh, dang. Hey, if I get conscripted, are they going to make me get vaxxed? Because that would be BS. That would be BS. Like, you're going to conscript me. Can you just leave me alone about that? You know what I mean? Like, I'm drafted for war. Oh, by the way, it's like, put me through the training, cut my hair, like, whatever. Turn me into a soldier. Break me down, make me into a soldier, make me into a killer, so be it. Maybe one day I'll be General Nick. You know my last name, Gonzalez. You know what that means? The meaning of the name Gonzalez? Gonzalez, it means like war general. The meaning and origin of that last name, Gonzalez, the surname, it means like war general. So how about that? General Gonzalez, huh? And if I ever become General Gonzalez at the end of World War III, I'll make sure I have a quote too. They'll quote me. They'll say, oh, General Gonzalez, he said he had some interesting words about the Russians. Those Russians are Asiatic in nature. Nah, I'm just joking. I don't know if I agree with General Patton. General Patton and his thoughts on the Russians. You know, aren't the Russians, at least in antiquity, in their ancestry, aren't they part of the great Christian Western nations, huh? Of Christendom, the West? Isn't Russia part of that? General Patton, are you sure you want to continue this age-old civil war of Europe? He's already dead, though, huh? General Patton, isn't he already dead? So I'm talking to nobody. Nick, the hero kamikaze pilot of World War III. Hey, hold up, Carver. Why are you writing my story already? Why am I a kamikaze? That's funny. You guys are funny in the chat. First General Anchor Baby. Hey, Gonzalez. War General, huh? How about that? Some believe the name to mean War Hall, as evidenced by the castle in a field of blood on its family crest. Huh? That's my family crest? A castle in a field of blood? Dope. All right, y'all. This has been a slice. It's been a show. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Join me tomorrow for another episode of American Anchor Baby at 12. We got more JLP show. We, of course, have the Bible Thumper Thursday. Don't miss it. We have the Hake Report. You got to love it. Don't miss it. And more American Anchor Baby tomorrow. This is General Anchor Baby signing out. Much appreciated. Great show, Nick Stream. I hope you don't get drafted. Thank you, Frederick. All right, y'all. This is General Gonzalez signing out. Again, always a pleasure. We'll pick this up tomorrow. All that and your calls tomorrow. Let me just make sure we can sign out here properly. All right, y'all. As always, it's a pleasure. Catch you guys tomorrow. Take care.